Hi, this is Bird from Birds SVGs.com, and in this video I'll be showing you how I put the Winter Wishes lever card together from the Let It Snow collection. Okay, first of all I'm going to put the card base together. So I've cut these two pieces out of my darkest cardstock, and I'm just adding some glue to the tab here, and then I'll join these two pieces together. And these will become the outer layer of my card base, because this card base is made up of two layers. And I've cut them from different colour cardstock, so the detail panel that I have in the back, where I'm going to add some snowflakes, it will have some contrast for me. Okay, I'm just going to add the front panel to my card. So I'm just adding some glue to my pattern paper, and then I'll pop it in place. And I'll make sure that there's an even border all the way round. It's easier to add the panel now before I put the card together. Okay, once I've done that, I'll be working on the next layer of my card. The inside layer of the card base is lighter in colour, but equally could go darker. It's just to have a contrast around the snowflake designs. Just to mention, it's bonfire night here tonight, and I think there's some fireworks going off outside, so if you can hear that, that's what that is. So I'm just folding along the score lines before I glue along my tab and add these two pieces together. So the center line here, where the two panels glue together, are a mountain fold, and the other two, the outer two score lines, are valley folds. Just pressing that down, making sure the glue's taken hold. Okay, so now I'll add some glue to the outside two areas, and that's where they join the outer layer of the card base. So it's just those two outside panels. So I'm just adding some glue all around the detailed area there. Okay, now you'll see this is where I'm popping it into place. And I'm just lining up the edges to make sure it's all in line with the outer card base. And now I can fold it over and add some glue to the other outer panel of this internal card base. And you'll see when this gets glued down that our lever card will have taken shape. Okay, so I'm just closing the card, making sure everything's all lined up nicely. And making sure that everything's working as it should. Okay, now I can go ahead and add these snowflake detail pieces to the inside of the card. And that's why I wanted the two different colours, so you can see the contrast there around the snowflake pieces. Okay, so I'm just adding a small bit of glue to those. You don't need very much at all. And popping those into place. And now I have my white panel here, and this is where you'll write the message to the recipient. You can, of course, you can stamp a message here too, or add a photograph, or you know, add a focal image of some kind. Okay, now I'm starting the front of the card, and I'm adding the background layer, and there'll be a border all the way around this piece, and then we have, this looks like lots of pieces, but it's not scary. It's just layering up snowflakes and then layering up your sentiment. So we'll add some glue to the back of each of these snowflake pieces, and then they all go onto their backing layers, and it gives them some extra strength, so we can add some dimensional adhesive behind them so they're sturdy enough. I use 3D foam pads, but you can use silicone glue or dimensional glue dots, anything that you have. Okay, moving on to the next snowflake. And this is quite a large card. It's actually 8 inches square. And of course it comes with its own envelope. I know there's been quite a trend for 8x8 cards recently, so I thought I'd add some to this kit. Okay, so now I can layer these up with my 3D foam pads. Just removing the backing and then pop them in place. Then I'll flip this over and add more foam pads. I'm just going to remove the backing from these, and then I can pop it onto my card front. And the snowflake is slightly smaller than the pattern paper piece here, so if you've got a small border around all the edges, it's in the right place. Okay, I'm going to move on to my sentiment layer now. And all 3 layers are glued directly on top of each other. You have a white layer at the back, at the front, and a coloured layer sandwiched in between. Then this will make it nice and sturdy to add some dimension behind it to then pop onto the front of the card. Just going to make sure that's in the right position. There's not a lot of a border with that back piece. Okay, and onto the more detailed front pieces. And again, I'm using my fine line applicator, and I've got Scotch Quick Dry adhesive in there. I find that it doesn't stay terribly clog free as advertised, but it does aid you in giving a nice fine line on small pieces like this, so you can't beat it really. Okay, so I'm slowly adding the sentiment into place, and then what I'll do is I will offer it up to the front of the card, and I'll see where I need to add my foam pads behind. I didn't incorporate the sentiment as part of the card. I've added it on the front afterwards. So if you want to leave it off, if you just want the snowflake embellishment on the front, or if you want to add your own sentiment, you can do that. Okay, just popping the last couple of pieces into place. Then here I'll just see where I'm happy with the position. and where I need to have a look, see where I need to add my 3D foam pads. And then I'll flip it over and start adding those. Okay, I can remove the backing off of my foam pads now. In a couple of the areas I needed to add to, where it overhung the snowflake. I'm adding quite a lot of foam pads here. Don't feel that you need to add this many. I do tend to go a bit mad with them. This is the only downside with foam pads, taking the backings off. Once I've done that, I can pop it into place. Now I have one last layer to add to my card. And this one's just going to go on the inside of the front lever. And this piece is quite important. I found that it needed it just for some extra support. So it adds a little bit more sturdiness to the areas at the top and bottom of the hexagon there. Just making sure that's firmly in place. And that's your card done. And I've got some extra photographs here just to show you how it looks, because it's quite a difficult card to explain or to visualize, but this is how it looks at the front, and then I have another photograph with it open, and then one that's probably best to demonstrate how it should look is the photograph from above. And all I did was I added a few sparkly gems to embellish.